Biggest thing right now is, just been on the road promoting the new album In the Air, which came out in April. And so just been hammering it out. We had a crazy sold out tour. We sold out 35 shows just for the North American tour. It's huge. It's like, we were talking about earlier how much the scene has grown just in the last year, since 2011. You're seeing college kids getting into it, which was, they were so into hip hop before, and now to see them into electronic stuff is amazing. The biggest thing is, I would call it big room melodic house. So, progressive house, but also with a little bit of electro in there. Stuff I play, stuff I DJ is definitely progressive electro house, what I call it. So it's a little bit of both, sort of splinter genres. I still like to do albums, even though singles are the big thing. I think it's important for me personally to do albums, because you can try different styles, and it doesn't have to be just sort of the style of the week. So, in terms of like vocalists, there's Nadia Ali, who's known for dance music, but there's also people like Angela McCluskey, who's known better for telepop music, and some more of those electronica type things. And then you've got sort of indie singer-songwriters like Greg Laswell, Tegan and Sarah. So some pretty cool guests and big names on the album. Yeah, the big part of what I do is draft a day, kind of a philosophy that I have, where I go in and sort of work 9 to 5 and just go in and try to work as quickly as possible. So I'll go in, start with a beat, move on to a chord progression, a bass line, arpeggio, build it up, and then have all these drafts. I'll even forget, I'll listen back to all these drafts that I do each day. It's about a day and a half, and I'll forget I even wrote them because I did them so quickly. But I'll go back, take those, shop them to vocalists, have them write sort of a top line over it, and that's sort of been the working philosophy of the past, 2 or 3 albums. I would say the biggest thing is to putting the time in each day is the most important thing. And I would say be doing about 3 hours minimum a day. And there's this 10,000 hour rule that I've heard, that to master something you need to put about 3 hours a day for 10 years. And it took me a long time to get to a point where I think the music was ready and it was baked and ready to be kind of shared with the public. And really try to think about, who your influence is, how to borrow from them in ways that aren't stealing necessarily, and just take creatively borrowing from your favorites. Well, with these, I think I always like to have a second pair of monitors to reference with, because I always have one big pair and I need a pair of near fields, and it's just a different sound. I need a monitor that sits on the desk, and I like these. I like the sound of these, and I just have the EQ flat on them, and it's just a good reference test, almost like doing a car test for them, especially with the low end stuff, just to see if the kick drum is sitting right, hear how the bass is enough of the bass in the track. I really like the controller. I think this is really cool. Like the ergonomics of this make a lot of sense, and this makes even more sense than a lot of the other controllers I use in the studio. So because everything's like one touch away. So I really like that. Be able to switch to the different settings, different inputs on there, and kind of really cool, kind of smooth jog dial on that. The biggest part of my setup is the DJM900 Nexus, so I have to have that to play. I plug in MacBook Pro with Ableton into that, and using pretty much just that in Ableton, so using all the effects on board on the 900. It also gives me a little flexibility to plug in other modular pieces of gear, and if I want like a touch screen, things like that. I'll use reverbs and delays, sort of bread and butter effects. The filters, use the white noise as a little sweep by bringing that up on an additional channel sometimes, and some of the slip and repeat sort of looping functions on there. A big thing I do is sort of clear my head as I go running a lot. I did the LA Marathon last year, and I like to just, you know, it takes a lot of time to train for those things, but it's a fun sort of hobby. It's just sort of a way to stay healthy and clear your head, especially before shows and traveling on the road. So it's a tie between the old cliche response of the screaming baby on the airplane, and I would just say noise in general, white noise. And I've spent so much time in the studio just getting the noise and the heat out of here. So that was a big part of building this new studio. So it's just this sound in the studio. Probably a citrus flower. I bought a house here that has grapefruit trees and orange trees, and they have this whole grove of them. So I love coming back and seeing those.